And we are live, Heal with Gold. How is everybody this Sunday evening? It is time to be inspired and empowered by an amazing, amazing story. I am waiting for you guys to come in. So when you do, please say hello. Tell me that you're here, where you're tuning in from. There will be people coming in from the group. Please approve StreamYard, because if you don't approve StreamYard, I will not see your name. And if you're coming from YouTube, I believe I will see your name automatically, or from my personal page. So as you join, please say hi, where are you tuning in from? Guys, I see you there, so say hello. Okay, aloha salute from San Diego. I need to watch some of your videos. I'm behind. I had a crazy week. As you know that I was in Gulfport. Okay, I'm going to bring Jenna in a minute, but I was thinking about what was the common denominator of the last 4 interviews. Because as you remember, in September, we had suicide awareness. In October, we had the women who are authors, right? And that they wrote their stories down. And I was thinking, what was the common denominator in November? And then it hit me. Do you realize how we had 4 young women, wise beyond their years, who overcame incredible adversities, and they really kick butt, They came so powerfully. They are themselves. They overcame, and now they're sharing their stories. We had Laura, Courtney, Amy, and today we have Jenna Hall. So without further ado, I am bringing Jenna in. She's going to share her story of being bullied and overcoming. Today, she is so positive, and she's here to share her story so other people will learn the impact of bullying in school, what can happen and how it impacts people. It is a very important topic. It's dear to my heart. I've experienced bullying myself, so I understand how this can be so, so painful and so damaging. So everybody who's here, I see there's a bunch of you. Please say hello, share, depending where you're coming from. If you're coming from my page, you can share this, say hello, and participate. If you have questions, you can ask questions. Without further ado, here is Jenna. Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am so, so happy. We had booked this interview quite a bunch of months ago, right? We had that conversation. I was walking around my pool when you were sharing your story with me, and there were some emotion, and there was such a connection. Hello, Melissa. Melissa's tuning in from South Carolina. Salud is here, just arriving at the timeshare. Salud never misses a beat. So we were having this very open conversation. It was very open and raw, and I was so inspired by your strength, and I am so happy that you're here today to share your story. So start with the point that you feel more comfortable to start, and just walk us through until today, where you are now.
So most of even through like middle school, I was kind of the tomboy, the girl, wasn't very girly girl, would wear basketball shorts and guy shirts, and I did all sports throughout my life, and I was always kind of playing football with the boys and doing that kind of stuff. I wasn't really doing like, I don't know, girly kind of stuff, and people definitely picked on me a lot. I was even though they kind of acted like my friends, it was more they were kinda I just felt now realizing where I'm at, like, older today, that they were mainly using me. My most of my life, I traveled with my mom, and my dad traveled a lot, and we got to go to some pretty cool places, and other people wanted to kinda do the same. And, when I got into my high school life, I think you kinda go through a transition where it's for some reason, you wanna be the popular kid, you wanna fit in, you wanna be able to do everything else everybody else does. And I definitely was kinda there. I wanted to fit in with everybody. I wanted to, talk to people and not just kinda be the outsider. And it took me a long time to realize it's okay to be the outsider or be you. It's not an outsider, it's just you being you and other people having groups. And, um, my high school life, I grew up in a house that had, like, a pool and a basketball court, and people would come over and be like, "Yeah, can we hang out?" And then wanna bring more people, and then they wouldn't even hang out with me at my own house because they just wanted to swim or take pictures and do that kinda stuff. And or if I ever went to a party, it was more like, "Hey, you have somebody that can," or, like, "that can, like, drive us, is that okay?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah," like, I wanted to fit in. And but I was very much reminded at, like, football games or by my friends who obviously now I know weren't my friends, that I was kind of the ugly friend, or I was the bigger friend. And, that I told them all the stuff that I wanted to do, and I was told, "You're not gonna make it, you don't have that look, you're too big, you might be tall, but that's still not enough." And then after a while, when I started to slowly kind of go away from them, it really hit. I was by myself in high school. I just kind of did my own thing. I got, a lot of rumors, and I feel like, sorry, um, people,
Take your time.
people don't really realize, it's not like a movie. You don't get pushed into a locker, like, I'm sure that happens, but words affect people a lot more than people realize. I had zero self-confidence, even though my outlet was sports. I went to a different school, and I played sports at a different school. So because my school didn't have sports, and that was my outlet, that was my way of getting away from people and being with people who are actually, I guess more my friends. And basketball was my way of getting away from people and stepping outside of school for the day where everybody would look at me and judge me. And I knew that they were talking about me just because I wasn't friends with them anymore. I had people I got partnered up with them, and they I almost failed 3 classes because, they didn't put me on a paper that I did all the work on. And I just felt like I got used a lot. And it took me a long time to realize, it's okay to do things by yourself, and it's okay to be be you and stand out and not have to be what everybody else wants to be. And um I went through a lot more than, like, just bullying. I know we talked about this over the phone. Um I almost lost one of my best friend at the time. You don't really realize what's going on with somebody. I thought I did. She was my absolute best friend. And one night we went out, and I took a wrong turn, and she started freaking out, and I was like, "Yeah, we'll turn around." And she jumped out of the car and she ran, but before she went out, she told me, to just drive off because she was gonna jump off the cliff. And obviously I stopped the car when she jumped out of the car. Um, and she tripped, and I grabbed her, and she's fine now, and I hope she's doing amazing. We don't speak anymore, unfortunately. But those kind of things stay with you and affect you. It made me think maybe I'm not a good friend. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe I wasn't good to people. Maybe I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't good enough for myself, for my family. And it took a very long time to realize on that one that that was not my fault, and I did the right thing, but, it's still with me every single day, and it's just and now that one really hurt because then I got bullied by her friends telling me that that was all my fault. I wasn't a good friend. I wasn't a good person. I should have saw it, and you don't see those kinds of things. Just happened. Um, but I think my biggest thing is that I would like to get across is that when you get into high school or those kinds of years, don't try and just fit into the mold that everybody wants you to be. If you want to be different, my school was so different. We had people wearing costumes to school. We had people wearing tails and dinosaur things, and I always thought, "Oh, that's kinda odd," and I'm like and now I look back and I'm like, they're living life, they had fun in high school, and that's something I really wish I could have done. I could have I could have gotten to a different friend group, not wanting to be into that popular group, and just had a much better high school and overall, even after high school, college, I had I had no friends in college. Everybody left and it was just me, and that's when I also decided, I did 1 year of college and I was like, "That's it. I'm not doing it again, and I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm going to go after my dream that people told me I wasn't gonna make it in. I'm gonna take that first step. I'm gonna show people that it's okay to be different or anything you wanna be at all." Um, I know I'm only 20 and, I still have a long way to go and I'm working on myself every day. And, people I get messages saying, like, "You're skinny, why do you hate your body? You're this." Well, it's like, well, I grew up my whole life with people telling me that I'm overweight and um I'm not pretty enough. I have a big nose, I have tiny eyes. Um I should go blonde, so I wanted my hair dark and I did it and I love it. And everybody trying to fix me instead of wanting me to be me. My parents and my family really pushed me to be myself. And that made a huge impact when I finally got older and started listening to them. I thought my friends were my friends. And my parents and my family are the ones who really pushed me to go after my dreams and help me do what I want to do and not just be what society wants me to be or look like society wants me to look. I'm on Instagram and I by all means, if like people want to edit and do the thing, go for it. I support that 110%. Whatever makes you feel beautiful, absolutely do it. And that's what I'm all about is, I might be tall and kind of thin, but I have stretch marks and scars and things that, I'm not fully comfortable with and I'm working on every single day. I have a positivity jar that I'm working on. I write notes to myself. I make sure I have a positive quote that pops up on my phone every day. I don't follow any negative pages. I make sure everything when I get on there is positive because it's all about a mindset. If you see something negative, might as well get rid of it because there's no point for that in your life at all. This life is supposed to be all about being happy and living a wonderful life exactly how you want it to be and living it in the body that was given to you because your body loves you and it deserves for you to love it. It takes care of you. You got to nourish it. It helps you it keeps you healthy. It fights, when you're sick, it makes you feel better. It does all these amazing things. And it took me a long time to really look at myself in the mirror and be like, I love my body and I love me and I love my personality and everything about me, and I'm still working on that every single day. It's not an easy process by any means. I still go back and think, unfortunately, were they right? And then I come back and I'm like, I've come so far. Obviously, they're not. Um, so
And I just hope, I don't know, I wish so much that you knew really how amazing you are. I have a daughter exactly your age. And she was very bullied in school to the point that I pulled her out from school and I homeschooled her. I so know the pain. I know what you went through. And as a child, I was bullied too. And somehow I really find that it's the special people that they have a message that end up being bullied. You know, there is something about specific people that get picked and get chosen to be the ones that are bullied. But the kids who bully, um, the reason I wanted so much to bring your message, it was twofold. You know, you were saying about how the young people needed to be themselves, accept themselves, because if they do, they will find their group, right? That they shouldn't be trying to be popular. But I want a message for parents too. You see, the kids who are bullies, they have parents. And there is a reason why these kids are bullying others. Either they are living in a home of tension, if they have their own pressures that they receive and then they put out on others, or maybe their parents are bullies and their parents talk about other people with disregard to humanity. And I wanted to bring your message twofold. It is for the kids to know, the young people, when they're in middle school and in high school, to be strong, even though it's so hard because you're just kids. At that time, there is so much knowledge and wisdom that you have to know to work from, but it's also for the parents. You know, when it's hard for the parent of a child that's bullied, we don't know what to do. I remember with my kid, I wanted to go to school and complain, and my daughter was begging me not to, because if I did, she would suffer even more from the kids, because, right, you had that kind of a feeling like you are helpless. For a parent, it's devastating to see their child suffering. And I have no doubt that your parents, they have the trauma of seeing their beautiful, smart, beautiful daughter be bullied the way that you were. You know, so it's trauma everywhere. And this needs to stop, and it can stop. It really could stop. I want to put some of the comments that are coming in. Bullies are hiding inside their own insecurities. They're weak. They're strong. 100%. I got pregnant and married my husband when I was 15, and then found out how cruel adults could be. Wow, Naomi, I didn't know that. You were put here to be great. You really were. You know, Jenna, what you're doing today, it requires so much courage. You know, a lot of people think that if you cry or if you confess or something like this, you are showing a weakness. But in reality, you're showing your strength, because the weak hides. And it's okay sometimes to hide when we're going through a lot of pain. But it came a point today that you have enough courage to bring your story to the masses so you can help other people. That requires, I mean, I bet with you that those bullies, they don't have the courage to do what you just did right now. Yes, Paul, I see you. I see you. Let's see what Melissa is saying. I've been there. My gosh, you were raising up looking right on. Are you reading this?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I really hope that you know the strength that you're displaying, and through the tears are okay. The tears is because you are real, because you have feelings and you're entitled to those feelings. But it takes tremendous strength and courage to come up and say, I'm going to share my story because I want other people to not to have to go through something like that. And what you said about being yourself, it's very hard when you want to fit in and you want to be, when you are in the midst, right? When you are there, it's very hard for the kid to say, "I heck with it, nobody's gonna like me," or "my friends are gonna be the weirdos." It's hard when you want to fit in. So you did nothing wrong by wanting to be part of that group. They were the ones that did wrong by you. You wanting to be that, you wanted to be with the popular kids. So what? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
What was wrong was that they really destroyed, and hurt your heart so badly. You are a beautiful woman and courageous. That's for sure. 100%. You are a model. You are stunning and gorgeous. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm in fashion, and I spoke to you about that when we had our conversation. I would be happy for you to model for my line any day. And I don't understand who they were calling the ugly duckling. I don't understand, because you are absolutely stunning. And there is a light that comes out. That's your beauty. Yes, your beauty, your body is beautiful. You may not fully see it. Other people do see it, but there is an inner beauty that comes out, a kindness and sweetness that it's even more beautiful than the physicality. I have a question for you about the household in which you lived in, because I had the pleasure to talk to your mom before I even met you. She actually is the one that introduced us. I'm so grateful to her. And she told me that your home was a house that was always open to people like Les Brown. I'm not sure, maybe Jack Canfield. I'm not sure if he was a figure, but I know Les Brown was a definite figure in your life growing up.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love Les Brown. I read his books. His laughter is contagious, right? You can't hear laughter and not laugh. So anybody who's here with us tonight, if you haven't heard about Les Brown, definitely Google him on YouTube and you will understand what I'm talking about. And he is a person who's very positive, and he's in the personal growth world. When you were growing up, were you hearing these messages, or was it because when I see my kids today, I'm very much into personal growth, and my kids roll their eyes they totally roll their eyes to me. They think I'm crazy. So was it like that in your house? Did you, or were you immersed in it? I'm curious.
I was definitely, when I was younger, I was kind of in the same boat. I was kind of just like, okay, these are some people that are here. I kind of just want to do my own thing. I wasn't all about it like I am now, and I wish I would have been. I was very curious because my mom, she brought all these amazing people. They were always funny and positive, and but they were also doing work, and which means like meetings and stuff. And when you're little, you're loud, and so you can't really be there. But she definitely involved us in so much, and so did my dad. My dad traveled a lot with Dr. Naram, and he was an amazing person. And so both my parents really brought a very positive impact with those kinds of people. Just, we have like a saying, our house is kind of like a hotel. It's open. People are just coming in and out and in and out. You never know who's going to show up, really. But my mom is definitely, both of my parents have shown, like we are very open, and if somebody needs a hand, we're there. We have 30 plus people at Thanksgiving sometimes, and living with, like, my mom had her masterminds at the house, and it was very inspiring now that I really look back, and I like people like Les Brown, and she works with like Tony Robbins and a whole bunch of other people, and sometimes I forget names because it's just like people are coming in and out all the time, but they're, they pull us aside, me and my sisters, and they would talk to us and teach us stuff. And I have so many books and just quotes or stuff they would write, discs to watch, or especially when she would take us to the live events and we got to watch them speak. When I first started going to those, that's when I really got interested, because I started seeing what my mom does. She is the person that sets everything up and is kind of the behind the scenes, but everything that's happening, that's my mom. And that's what really caught my eye. I was like, these people are talking, but my mom is putting them on stage to talk, to inspire all these people that she got here. And then I got to listen to these people and I got to hear what they have to say. And I also got to, when I got older, be in meetings when stuff was going on, and I started speaking up if I disagreed with somebody.
Good
That
for
was
you.
really hard for me. I spoke up
Yeah.
and said that, and some speakers got really shocked, like a 17-year-old is disagreeing with one of my motivational things or something, and because I wanted to show them, into my generation about what we think about, how social media is now and how society is now, and it's not, people don't, I guess my age, they're not really looking. Unfortunately, I feel like I don't see as much motivational stuff or speaking as much in my generation, which I really wish, and that hopefully I can start getting into that, and I would love to start telling my story. And having all those people in my life definitely made a huge impact. It made me just it overall just made me want to help other people, seeing all of these people do amazing things. My mom would go to fire walks and people would just break down and cry because they had emotional breakthroughs and people's lives changing. And it's not all about, money and having this and having that. It's about changing your inner self so you can live a happy life. And that all of that really just stuck with me. And having everybody over at the house for the masterminds, it was just a different experience than having like, they're all friends, but you know what I mean? Like friends, like, your town friends that, I don't know how to really describe that, but it was just a different feeling having people all over the world telling you about what's going on here, what's changing here. Oh my gosh, can I go here? I got to go to Dubai with my mom and see a completely, different culture and experience that and how they do motivational stuff and how they are changing their kind of ways, which was so cool because it's so different. And it's just a whole different mindset that is completely different from where I live. And even just in different states, it's a completely different mindset, which is, I think, the more I'm learning about it and the more I'm going places, absolutely just, I never want to stop learning, which has definitely changed my life with that.
I'm going to tell you something, Jenna. These people are very inspiring, but you are very empowering. These people, they say the right things, and they know how to speak in a way that it touches our core. But your story, people like you, I like to interview people like you, the everyday people with the everyday real stories that can cry tears because it was the pain that that broke their soul, something that was very deep inside, and then they have the courage to stand up and share. To me, you're the hero. People like you are the inspiration, and you know what, you're the future. And people like you need to be the ones starting to speak and show how it's possible to overcome and make something out of this brokenness. I spoke to you a little bit when we had our conversation about kintsugi, right? And I think did I speak to you about kintsugi? Okay, in Japan, they don't throw out the pottery that breaks, right? They mend it together with gold. And they show, as a philosophy, kintsugi, the purpose is to show that when we're broken, we're not trash. We don't discard. We do the work to put ourselves back together, and we use lacquer and gold. Why the gold? Why not try to make it so you don't see that there was a break? Because the break, when you put yourself back together, that's your badge of honor. That's the work that you did. You want people to see. You earned it. And that makes that process of you becoming whole again, that made you stronger, more valuable, more beautiful, more wise, more inspiring, more empowering than before. You want to show that. And that's what you're doing here. I always say that the most important golden nugget, I call it, is when you take your story and you want to share it with other people. When you want to get up, it doesn't matter if you're talking to one person, 20 people, 100 people, but you want to share a piece of your soul because you want to help somebody else. That's the gold. That's when you say, look, you see my broken heart? It's an open heart. It's an open heart. And I'm sharing this light that I have, that I went through with you, so you don't have to go through something like that. Or so if you did go through, you know that you're not alone and that you can overcome and you can become so much more special once you do the work to put yourself back together. It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean that when you look back to the gold, you don't grieve the fact that it broke one time. You remember that it broke, but you also remember that now you mended yourself with gold, with wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm so passionate about Kintsugi. I'm so passionate about your story. I'm so proud of you. You know, as somebody who could be, I'm an age that I could be your mom. A girl like you, it's everything. That I'm sure your parents are so proud of you because you could have gone to a completely different direction, and you didn't. You know, you have a gift. Yeah, and Paul is right. And Paul is probably one of the most incredible motivational speakers, teachers, mentors. He's my mentor. And you're hearing from somebody, this person, Paul Cummings, he has spoken in front of millions of people. For sure, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, traveled all over the world. He's the kind of people that you know, this kind of people. And he's even better. Yes, social media has taken bullying to a whole new level. And I'm going to tell you something. My kids were growing up and they asked me at a very young age to have social media. And I said no. And I was a very bad mom because I don't understand. I didn't understand that you needed social media. And then teachers started posting some things on Facebook. And I had to write a letter to the school that my kid is not going to have social media, and therefore they have to post the homework outside of Facebook. They were using Facebook for some specific project. And I said, my daughter is not going to participate in this homework. My daughter is 20 years old now. She's applying to law school. She wants to rent an apartment in New York, and all the groups are through Facebook. And she says, "Ma, I don't have Facebook. I'm 20 years old. How am I going to rent an apartment?" I said, "Now you can have Facebook." And she told me, "Well, now I don't want Facebook." Now, you see, she said, "It's a waste of time. And I don't want to be part of that world." And it's so interesting because, right, she wanted so badly, and I was the bad one that wouldn't allow her to have it. Now she doesn't want it. Yes, amazing, inspirational personalities. Yes, his laughter, and he was bullied too. Jenna, your story is incredible. What else would you like to share with people who are here? There's a lot of people here that are a little older. They are probably in their 40s and 50s and 60s. What would you tell them? For example, if they are a mom or a grandmother or a grandfather, how can we notice if a child is being bullied? Because it took me a long time to realize that my daughter was being bullied, because in the beginning she was hiding from me. And her grades were good. So there was no, what would you tell me could be some signs? What did you experience?
That is a difficult one for me because when it kind of slowly started happening, I had people reach out to me and tell me, like, this is what I see. I see people, using you for this, or, they're not being as positive as you think they are. And then when I started hearing that, that's when I went, my mom knew, I don't know, she had said that, like, that mom kind of vibe, you know? You kind of she kind of knew something was going on. I definitely got a lot quieter. I didn't want to really go places as much. I kind of slowly stopped going to like events with her. Um, for me, I got really quiet. I kind of started to go into my own little bubble, uh, and then I stayed in my room a lot. I slept a lot, which and then I didn't really want to do school. I didn't want to go. Um, Things like that for me personally. And then I reached out to her and I talked to her, and then I also talked to my significant other, and I talked to my dad, and I talked to my sisters, and they all helped me out a lot. They all made me kind of realize this is what's going on, and they definitely pushed me to go, just go and start, slowly stepping away from them, not just saying like bye, and having an issue. You start doing my own thing. And I think for me, other things I saw in school, I started, to sit with people who didn't really have people to sit with, or talk to people I haven't talked to before that I knew were also probably being bullied, and I used to never do anything about it, and I was really disappointed in myself. And so I talked to them, and I said, "You don't listen to them," and those kinds of things. But things at school, I wish, I wish there was more done because I was in the same boat. I didn't want my mom to talk to somebody. I didn't want him to talk to a teacher. Um, but in, I guess it's like for me, I needed space. When I had people breathing down my neck, like what's going on, what's wrong, is something happening? It was just I would come home from school, and then all of a sudden it was like, "Are you okay?" It was like I didn't have that second to breathe. Didn't have that second to go in my room and take a second for myself. And maybe if I wanted to cry, if I wanted to be angry, or if I wanted to just sit there and look at the ceiling. I didn't have that moment. And then I finally sat down. I said, "Hey, I just need that second." But I know there's a lot of people, when I was that age, that wouldn't do that. That would be like, "Oh, leave me alone," like, but I think if personally for me, I don't know if, other people need that, but if they seem upset or if they seem super angry, give them a second instead of when they walk through the door, try and figure it out instantly, because it's like almost when you get mad, you say something you don't want to say. The same thing with being sad. If somebody's coming at you trying to ask, you might say something you don't want to say to your mom or to your dad, and then you're going to feel bad about that, and then you're going to apologize for that and maybe not want to talk about what was actually going on. So for me, it was definitely having that moment to just process my day and then think about, if they did ask, do I want to tell them? And if they did ask, or if my parents asked and I didn't want to talk about it, they kind of finally just let me not talk about it until I wanted to. So space for me was a good thing.
This is such an important tip. And I have to tell you, it's a hard one for a parent.
Mhm.
The parent naturally wants to fix the problem for the child. Yeah, right? We have that, I don't know, mama bear, papa bear, who's hurting my kid,
Mhm.
who did this to you? I want to know. And it's definitely hard. It took a long time for my daughter to share with me what was going on. And she did not want me to go to school. At some point, I told her I have to. And I went to school. Jenna, I had 80 pages worth of cyberbullying because I managed to hack into one of the apps. And we figured out who were, because it was that app, Ask Something. It was an app that you didn't know who was writing. And they were cyberbullying her through the app.
Oh.
And we managed to go in, and we went with 80 pages. It was like a real thick stack. And we showed it to the school. And the reaction was horrible. I was shocked with the school. Could it be that she didn't understand, like that type of conversation? And I said, look, honestly, I feel bad for the bully because I'm sure that there is something really bad going on, because that's crazy talk. But if you're going to act like that, then you're a bigger bully.
Mhm.
You should know better. So I'm taking my daughter out of school, and that's that. And my kid was an A student, and they did not want to lose her as a student. But I also wanted to make sure that my daughter was healthy. I was scared. As a parent, you don't know what to do. And I don't know that taking the kid out of school is the answer, because I removed her from an environment where she should be, right? She should be with kids. She should be growing up with children, with kids her age. She was in high school then. But as a parent, you become so completely devastated and you don't know how to resolve the situation, you're so helpless. But I think that what you're saying is such an important tip for parents, to maybe give them that moment to mourn and cry, and then maybe just let them know, we're here whenever you feel that you need us and you want to talk. We're here to support you in the way that you want, and just let them know. And I think that this is such a gift that you just gave parents. You know what? I wish I knew that, because I definitely, when I saw my kid coming in home with a sad face, I was right there. What happened? And she also did not want to share. So you really shared an amazing tip with everybody. I want to know if anybody has any questions for Jenna. Yeah. I'm proud of her. Mending your soul creates a stronger, more desirable outcome than just hiding it and pushing it deep down, trying not to face it. My daughter wouldn't want to go to school. Yeah, I have grandchildren, older Naomi, so you can be her grandmother. So powerful. It is so powerful, because those are real people story, Jenna. Real people story is the most powerful. And we can find inspiration everywhere, but empowerment is when people see stories like you. This whole month, this is what I shared just before I brought you in. We had 4 young women. I don't know if you got to see any of the interviews, but we had Laura, Courtney, Amy, and you. They're all between 20 and 30 years old, who are so beautiful, so empowering, because you have wisdom for going through something, and saying, I'm here, I'm strong, you didn't take me down. Yes, you hurt me, but I learned lessons, and I'm going to share that with the world. What's more amazing than that? Nothing. I mean, because what you're saying to everybody else is that they can also overcome. It doesn't matter if it's a different adversity. It doesn't matter if it is somebody who's going through an illness. They see somebody like you and they say, she did it, I could do it too. Anything that you would like to share with the group?
Oh, you can.
Watching. There's people watching from YouTube and then my page, and there's going to be people watching it on replay. A message that you want to share, that you want them to know, so that so this doesn't keep going on. What would you like to share with them?
I think going back into like my high school and college area, really realizing, even just, I feel like bullying is like so overlooked. It's just like, oh, it's part of high school. It shouldn't be part of high school. It shouldn't be part of college, and it shouldn't be part of middle school. Unfortunately, it is somehow, but that's not something you should just be used to. Now, oh, don't worry about it. Things will get better. Well, for me, it was, I knew things would get better, but at the same time, it was like, then I was like, are they? Is this going to be my life of having friends who tell me I'm not going to be good enough? Am I going to get older? Is that going to get better? It takes, bullying isn't just, getting shoved or, having one little thing, but it's like, it could be that one tiny little sentence that somebody says to you that can stick with you for the rest of your life and can affect the way you think, the way you move, the way you dress, anything at all. And I really want to just address that and show that to people, that no matter how small it is, or if you think it's ridiculous, it's not at all. Anything at all that makes you feel uncomfortable or and you want to talk about should be talked about if you would like to. There should be more open areas for people to just go talk to somebody or figure it out. Or, I wish I had that more opportunity in school, because all those little things that the people that say I use that to empower myself now, but back then it just brought me down hating school. I never wanted to go back, and unfortunately I had to. And then that's why I quit college. I was like, this is not for me, and I'm taking my next step into my, future life, whatever that's going to be. So I think my biggest thing is, don't overlook the little things, because sometimes those are going to stick with people the absolute most. Because I know I still have things that are in the back of my head every day, or bigger moments. Sometimes moments happen, and the things people say to me are more effective. Like with what I'm doing now, sometimes I do swimsuit stuff, I do car stuff, I do, all kinds of stuff. And I want to be able to express myself and not have people be like, oh, showing too much. Obviously, no. I'm like, no, I worked hard on myself. And there's so many people like, I see that. You might be in a swimsuit, but you're also being happy and you're loving your body and you're loving your personality and who you are. And I think that is so overlooked, especially on social media. And I'm going to change my page a little bit because I have a lot of cool stuff, but I think that is something that, if you're going to be in that kind of world, it should be about just living and being able to do what you want. And, I have people all the time, I have stalkers and the weird stuff, right? All that kind of stuff, where people are trying to bring me down every single day. And that's why I set it up completely different. I put things, if a word comes through, my account automatically deletes it. So I don't even have to see that stuff. I think
Really? Wow.
And you can do comments like that too. If somebody has like an emoji that's, weird or has a bad word, you can change it so it won't even show up. I think see, people don't know that. And I think it's really important, like for me, only focus on the positive, because that one tiny word that somebody says to you could also change a huge mentality for somebody, or send them down a road maybe they don't want to be on. And I've seen it, and it happened to me. Even just a little thing sent me down a road that I didn't want to be on. And it's just sad. And then when I came out of that from high school and I saw it happening to other people, I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I figured this out sooner. So when I was in high school, I could have helped other people. And when you're in that young age, you're just trying to figure everything out. And so now that I'm where I'm at, my biggest goal is to help other people just be themselves, because the world needs a lot more happiness than critics, and positivity and self-love, and just people going out and living the life that they've always wanted.
Jenna, this is amazing. I hope to see more of you speaking like that on your page, because you have a great following. You have over 30,000 followers. And unfortunately, the way Instagram works, only a fraction of those see, right? Your posts. But I would love to hear you do lives there and speak if this is something that interests you. But you have such a powerful message. I am going to send you a link to a model that I really want you to see her, because she's an amazing model. She's actually a little bit bigger, but she makes fun of a lot of things that goes on also in the modeling world, and also in the critics of the critics of the models. And she's really a breath of fresh air and extremely, extremely talented. So I'm going to show you her page, and for you to see what she's doing, to talk about, in a way, a little bit of the lies of Instagram, right? And showing like, yes, we show you what we want you to see. We also have moments that we don't look like that. We're normal people, you see the best and the things that we want you to see. But she makes it okay to not be okay sometimes. She makes it okay for you to be that model. She's a successful model, but also sometimes to be just her. And Yeah, it's an incredible account. I follow that account, and I don't follow too many accounts that I really look forward to seeing. And hers is one that I always comment because she's so creative. But you're very creative. I see a lot of the work that you're doing. And you know what? Today you're doing bikini, tomorrow you're going to want to do something else, and it's fine. I mean, you are entitled to evolve and choose how to communicate creatively. You are beautiful. I saw that you modeled in Paris, right?
Yeah, London.
London on the runway. And I mean, there's nothing as exciting as fashion weeks. It is so beautiful. You look beautiful, and I'm sure that you're going to create this platform and really be able to speak and inspire young ladies. I just remember there's another account that I'm going to show you too. So we're going to be in touch and maybe talk more about this. Maybe we could do a live on Instagram. Maybe we can do, so more of the young people are going to be there to listen, because I think Facebook, the old people always follow the young people and we take over the platform. Now the young people are on TikTok because we're on Instagram. Instagram is trying to save it with Reels, but you are super. You are a breath of fresh air. I am so excited to have spoken to you, to have brought you to the group. Anybody has any questions for Jenna? Now is the time. It was amazing. Anybody questions? Now is the time. I'm going to give it a minute in case they're still typing. Otherwise, we will wrap it up. Jenna, what I would like to ask you to do is to send me any links that you want people to follow you. If it's on Instagram, if you have a website, whatever it is that you want to share with people so they can keep following you and seeing the work that you do. I usually post it right after the show or tomorrow, it doesn't matter. As soon as you send it to me, I'll repost it in the group so people can follow you. I would love Jenna to be on a panel. I think that is a great idea. Oh, for my foundation. Okay. Okay. Let's make that happen. Deanna, please send me your information and we will connect the two of you and go from there, because I think that you have a powerful message. When I went through my adversity, Jenna, what I said was, if I can help one person, it gives reason for me having to go through what I went through. And after I helped one person, I said, okay, just one more person. Let me help just one more person. And this blossomed into this group and into the blog, into the book that I wrote. And I feel so inspired to help people more, because every person that we help gives reason why we had to go through, because we had to learn, we had to have this message to then share it with the world. And then it becomes clear why we had to go through those experiences. Okay, here is Deanna's foundation. So we will take that and give it to you so you can connect right after the show.
Awesome.
And well, hold on a second. We have a few messages. Okay, I'll be on your parents' panel too. Not a question, but sorry, this is long, but I wanted to share this with you. It is definitely the hardest thing a mother has to do, to give space. It is true. My daughter was dating a guy and was trying to pull back because he was sending all the signs that he was suicidal. And one night she was trying to meet with some friends. He was on the phone with her and on the parking lot and committed suicide on the phone with her. Wow. I couldn't be there for her. I was in the hospital taking care of my mother. Okay, that got caught. Melissa, this is a heartbreaking story. And yes, it is very hard for a parent to give that space. But Melissa, we have to learn from the person who needs our help to know when to give the help, because when we give the help in the wrong time and in the wrong way, and the help is not accepted properly, then it defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do. But it is the hardest. And I told you, Jana, that I did it wrong. I went straight to my daughter. What's going on? Why are you so sad? Melissa, that's a heartbreaking story. We'll definitely talk more about that. And I'm here to support you on that. Naomi, thank you for coming.
And I think, I think like you said, it's just that right moment. Like my mom, she figured out like the way I walked in a door, or the way I, talked or something. She would be like, okay, this is the moment that she needs that. And sometimes, even if I was a little too much, she'd sit me down, or she would just grab me and hug me and not really say anything, and when she did that, I would just cry, and she knew something was wrong. And then I'd have that moment, or then I would want to talk to her. And it definitely took both me and my mom time to figure that, the energy between us out, when I needed the space, when I didn't, when she wanted to give me advice, and I finally realized, look, I need to sit down and I need to listen to her. Maybe I don't need to tell her what happened today, but I could tell her it was a rough day, and she can tell me, some way to help me feel better. And maybe I don't need to tell my story, but my mom, I also wanted to make sure I had to learn that, she's my mom. She's gonna, it's her nature. I need to give her her moment. She's gonna give me space, then I need to give her her moment to talk to me, because she's gonna worry, and I can't just not talk to her every single time. I got to give her her moment to talk to me and to hug me, and to, same with my dad. If they wanted to talk, I had to figure out, if I didn't want to talk, I had to let them talk to me, and then maybe I would want to talk. It's definitely difficult finding a balance, but it was really well worth it for both me and my parents, because it helped me out so much, and I know it was less stressful for both of us. And so,
Jana, I really hope that you can give the young community this message, because what you said right now, it is so empathetic. What you said is, I need my moment, but I recognize that my parent also need to speak and ask and hug and cry. And it is when the two people, I remember my father passed away a year ago, but I remember a long, long time ago, I asked my father that I wanted to partner with somebody. And my father said, no, most partnerships don't work, because everyone is looking for themselves. The only partnerships that work is when each one is looking out for the other one. And those are rare. And what you said is like, yeah, I need my time, but I also need to understand that my mother needs that hug, and she needs to be able to speak and cry and hug and all of that. And when we recognize that both sides have needs, that's when the relationship flourishes and becomes strong and beautiful. I mean, you speak so beautifully about your parents with so much respect and love. And yes, it happens that they are wonderful parents, and not everybody is as lucky as you are. But it takes maturity to understand that at times they wanted something of you that you didn't want to give it to them, but you also understood their side. And that's when a relationship is healthy and beautiful, is when each one understands the need of the other, even when sometimes they're not the same, but there is mutual respect. You are wise beyond your years, and I really, really hope that you understand that you have a beautiful message, a special message. You'll probably, if you keep talking, you will save lives. I have no doubt. That there, look at that. Deanna is saying that her foundation is about suicide prevention. I was depressed as a kid as well. And you will go to this foundation, and you'll be on the panel, and a depressed kid who wants to commit suicide will hear that you overcame and how you're thriving, and you will save lives. You may not know, but you will.
Thank you. I don't know what to say. It means a lot to me.
I have no doubt. I'm going to put this one message. Miri, you created something special here. We don't feel alone, like we're only one here. Hearing Jenna helps me see events from a different perspective, and that helps heal. And hopefully, our stories and listening to her helps her. Absolutely, conversation saves lives.
Yeah.
100%. Jenna, I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I know that this was not easy for you. Your tears are gold. They are valuable. They are wise. And I cherish each one of them, every word of yours, and everybody who came here to listen to your message, and the people who will be listening on replay. You feel free to share so we can tell other children that they're not alone and that there are better days coming. Thank you so much, and have a good night, everybody.